0.4%. Now, here's the element of where they do think it's going to be
อาจารย์ Kahty Lien ครับ
that
จาก
they
นิวยอร์กครับ
expect the CPI report year over year to be stronger. They
ค่ำคืน
expect
นี้ก็คือ
CPI
ค่ำ
to
คืน
go
วัน
from
ศุกร์ที่
2.9 to 3.1%. And that is part of the reason why we have seen
ตุลา2568 ครับ
into the inflation
October
report and
24th
gold
on
prices
Friday
pull back.
now
We're gonna ask
17
this
p.m.
two questions, which is number one, what are the
นิวยอร์ก
quote-unquote
เป็นตอน
leading
เช้านะครับ
indicators in the market telling us? It's telling us that inflation is going to be hot or is it cool? And then also, what is potential market impact? And then we're going to talk about what to trade. So, the inflation report from the U.S. Usually we have a couple leading indicators that we watch. The first one is producer prices, which we're not getting this month. But one of the things that we do look at, and I look at, is gas prices. Because the consumer price index is very much reflective of gas prices. And there's a website called gasbuddy.com. You scroll to the very bottom, and I click on fuel price data analysis. And just ignore all this stuff. What we're looking for is this little table here. And basically, the only line that we want to focus on is the green line, because the blue line is what happened 1 year ago. The black line is 2 years ago. We don't care about that. We just care about how gas prices changed from last month to from August to September. And you can see that between August, we saw that gas prices increased, but in September, gas prices actually decreased. So if anything, this suggests to us that maybe inflationary pressures did not rise as much as people are looking for. So if we go to, I like to look at the site called tradingeconomics.com. And if we go to ISM, look at ISM services because the US is a service-based economy. So we know ISM, which measures service sector activity, dropped. But what we really care about is this, ISM services prices. So ISM services prices, how did it surprise? Well, if you look at ISM services, and I'm going to show you the correlation between that and the inflation report and why I look at this so closely. So we are going to come in and we're going to look at where's the inflation report. And I am very mindful of the time because don't have too much time. All right, so I'm going to make this, I'm going to move this up and we're going to make this small, okay? Oops, sorry. Oh, where'd it go? We're going to put this back up. All right. I need to make this a little bigger. Okay, there we go. So we are going to look at, it's like with a 1 month delay. So this is the US inflation rate. So let's just look at some, bigger movements. So start in the beginning of the year, okay? In the beginning of the year, we had the US inflation rate. This is January, all right? So January, so I said it's a 1 month delay. So the December data predicts the January data. The January data predicts the February data. The February data predicts the March data. So you can see in January, in December, we had a huge jump in the ISM service prices. This coincided with a huge jump in inflation in January. In February, that dropped. So January, that dropped. In February, this dropped. This one, not so accurate, but in April, what we saw is that March, we did see prices dropped. And then we saw prices rebound. And so there's a bit of a consistent trend. So what is this telling us? This is telling us that right now, ISMs continue to release data, but we're going to key off this one. So in July, we did see ISM prices jump. And as a result, inflation jumped in August. So now we're looking at the September data. So this dropped. So that suggests to me that maybe inflation did ease in September. So from the gas price perspective, from the ISM services perspective, all of this tells me that maybe we may not have an upside surprise. Now, I could be completely wrong, and this is part of the reason why we trade reactively. But the leading indicators for the inflation report tell me that it may not be as hot as economists expect, or maybe there could be a little bit of a downside surprise. So how are we going to trade this? Well, for those of you, one of the platforms that's our sponsor is a company called Think Capital. And Think Capital is running a 35% off sale. 15 minutes after the event, we had a 43 pip rally last month in Eurodollar. And we had, for example, let's see, a 65 pip move in dollar yen. And so you can see so you can tell whether or not the data is going to have significant impact and how it moves based upon the outcome. So this month, even though we had inflation stronger than expected, the
ไล
market
ฟ์สดจากนิวยอร์กครับอาจารย์แคทเธอรีนนะครับกับอาจารย์บอริสครับขณะนี้1:22 นาทีของค่ำคืนวันศุกร์ที่24ตุลา2568ครับ 24th of October on Friday now it's 7:22 p.m. ก็เป็นช่วงเช้าของนิวยอร์กนะครับวันนี้ก็จะมีเรื่องของ inflation ครับ CPI นะทุ่มครึ่งครับ
And I know I'm going through this really quickly. We'll come back and review later, but this just shows you the potential impact of every piece of data and why this is such a valuable tool. And so a lot of people are taking advantage of the Think Capital offer because they want to use tools like this. So now let's talk about our game plan. So when it comes to trading, it's really important to think about what the market is pricing in. So the dollar today is up. So the dollar is up against the euro, dollar yen, dollar CAD. One of the biggest news today is that U.S. cut its trade talks with China. So the U.S. cut its trade talks with China. So not China. U.S. cut its trade talk with Canada. I cannot say China. They cut its trade talk with Canada. So Canadian dollar is down a lot. So first currency that I'm looking at buying is the dollar CAD because dollar CAD has the really bad news. And so I'm really, so that compounded with dollar strength, it's in my zip buy zone. I'm going to be looking to buy dollar CAD. The other one that I'm going to be looking to buy is if we look at dollar yen, it looks like it's just kind of flatlining. But dollar Swiss looks quite strong. We got a zip buy signal. So I'm going to be looking at buying dollar CAD and buying dollar Swiss if we get that. Also, euro dollar is going to move. Euro dollar looks like it wants to move in the zip sell zone. So that's going to be something that I'm going to be looking at as well. Now, if we have a weak US CPI report, then what I really want to trade is I want to sell CAD yen. Because dollar yen is going to fall, CAD yen is going to fall. We'll probably get an opportunity maybe to buy euro dollar because euro PMIs weren't bad, but this is going to be the game plan. And I'm going to change my charts. I know Boris really wants to share with you the trades for him to put up, but we're going to put this as our trading plan. Put this up here. I'm going to holler out my trades. They're always 20 pip stop, 20 pip target. And so when I say buy, that'll just be 20 pip stop, 20 pip target. All right, Boris, you want to come in? You said you needed to put your orders in?
ครับแล้วก็อาจารย์บริสครับจากนิวยอร์กครับไลฟ์สดนะครับค่ำคืนนี้ครับเป็นค่ำคืนวันศุกร์ที่24ตุลา2568ครับ 24th of October on Friday night now it's 7:25 p.m. ก็เป็นตอนช่วงเช้านะฮะของที่นิวยอร์กครับไลฟ์สดครับ CPI call ครับอันนี้
152 take profit. Don't worry about the stop because if the whole idea is there's no stop. It either works or they count as burned. 152 will take us to $3,000 on a four contract position. About 30 seconds before the event, we're going to